Well, hello everybody. How are you? This is going to be my movie review on Taare Zameen Par. This is definitely a Bollywood top 100. This is probably number one film for me for a couple of reasons here. The film stars Aamir Khan and tells the story of a working class Indian family who is living the Indian dream. I almost said American dream. Living the Indian dream. Can we produce young, successful kids that then will go out and conquer the world? And the family is made up of mom and dad. And apparently dad travels for business. And mom is a stay-at-home mom. And there's a brother, an older brother, who is quite gifted in school, does very well athletically, is very competitive, and is kind of cast in the mold of what dad's vision is for him, right? Then we have the little guy. We got the young guy. He's 8 or 9 years old in the film. And he kind of walks to the beat of a different drummer. And this is gonna be, I think this could be an emotional movie review for me. Because I was that little kid, right? So instantly we see this little kid's problems in school. We see that he's very artistic. We see that he can paint and draw at home, and he likes to do puzzles and things like that. They're very creative, and he has a knack and a flair for it. But when he gets to school, something happens. He doesn't do well in school. He doesn't do his homework. He is flunking out of classes. He's already repeated the third grade. And he's always getting into trouble. He's always doing things like stepping into mud puddles and getting his shoes dirty, and he gets singled out a lot in class. And we see this frustration growing in the family of what the hell's wrong with you, right? Why can't you just be like your brother? You're being lazy. Right, that was said to him. You're being lazy, lack of focus. You need discipline. We need to discipline you. And this little boy, who we find out later is dyslexic, and I am dyslexic, and in this film, I thought did a very good job of explaining what it is not, and how our minds function. Right. Because the little boy, as he gets involved in class and school, will be asked to do things, and he doesn't do them, right? And he doesn't do them, and he gets in trouble. He's being labeled as naughty. And I liked later in the film when Aamir Khan is introduced, and he finds the boy, right? He comes across the boy, and he travels back and he talks to the parents. He says something to them, and he said, and this is very, very true, like, what's wrong with your son? Like, what has caused this? And they get various reasons, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But he said, no, you're giving me the symptoms. What caused this? Because the problem that he's having is that he's dyslexic, right? And so he gets embarrassed in school because he doesn't recognize the letters. He doesn't recognize them. So instead of saying, I can't do that, he says, I won't do that. And he becomes acting out. And what I found as a kid growing up is it was easier for me then to be like this young man, because I couldn't read, I couldn't spell, I couldn't do simple math. I was held back in the second grade, held back in the fourth grade, right? I was held back twice. And then I ended up getting fixed, right? It just clicked for me. I started being able to figure this out a little bit. And then I skipped a grade. I skipped 7th grade, never went to 7th grade. So I ended up just one grade behind. They could have jumped me another one, but they said, you're still kind of immature, which I am. And you guys kind of know that, right? But what it turned into was, I'm not going to do that because now I'm a rebel. Yes, I can't read. I can't compete with my peers academically. But I have their respect because I'll tell the teacher, go suck it. I'll take the whooping. I'll take the knuckles, dude. Go ahead. Because at least I have some kind of street credibility. And as I watched this story unfold, I was taken back about how much of my life I'm seeing this little kid where he can't read, and he's saying that the letters are dancing. I'm trying, you don't understand. This isn't because I'm being difficult. I can't do that. I can't do that. And how he's treated, right? And you see his response to that is then to act out. When I was a kid, man, because the kids would say, "Oh, you're dummy, hey, stupid," man, and I would just go to town, dude. There's a scene in the film where they're playing cricket and he's playing with the dogs, and that's completely something I would have done as a kid, just hanging out watching, right? I didn't interact much because of my dyslexia. And the ball rolls over and they say, "Hey, listen, just throw us the ball." And he throws the ball and he does it very awkwardly and it goes over somebody's wall. And they're trying to make him go get it. And he's becoming defiant, and that's very much a defense mechanism, right? You're not going to tell him what to do. It's like you weren't going to tell me what to do. You still can't tell me what to do. And he begins to beat the crap out of the older kid, right? Beat the crap out of him. And I was instantly taken back because I remember a semi-similar incident. I had the year is 1976. The professor is 6 years old. He has a metal lunch box, of Grizzly Adams, and I was getting made fun of by an older kid because I couldn't read, I couldn't write, and it was manifesting itself, right? Like, you're being tormented. So I grabbed that lunch box and I walked up to the kid. I tapped him on the shoulder. When he turned around, busted his face completely open. Just knocked him out. Absolutely knocked him out. And all the neighborhood kids, the kids from school were like, holy crap. And then I ran. I just won when I ran. Anyways, whatever. But I did all kinds of crazy things, and I would get met at home, much like our hero in this film, with, okay, listen, if you don't get it together, you're out of here, dude. I'll send you to boarding school. Now, my family couldn't afford boarding school, but what they did is they sent me with my grandparents. My mom constantly did not want me around, right? She sent me with other people. Like I became other people's problems, which is unfortunate, right? And you see that this kid is given this ultimatum about one more time, and I'm going to bounce your ass. You go into boarding school. And so, life kind of gets back to normal. He's not doing homework, not turning things in. And he realizes that he had some tests that he needed mom and dad to sign. And he's failing. And he couldn't have them signed. Not going to do it. And and he's failing math class. And he's like, what am I going to do? And he decides, and I learned a new term, bunk. He just bunked school. He just walked out, dude. And and he's wandering the streets. Were they in Mumbai? I think they were in Mumbai. And he has this adventure just looking at people, watching stuff. And then he goes home and he paints it. And it was amazing. But the problem is now he needs a note to go back into school. So when I was a senior in high school, I missed maybe 120 classes, and I would just forge my own note. And I don't know, maybe 6 months into it, a teacher just looked at it and said, and then he just would go and file, and he pulled out this file, and there's this huge thing, and I got busted. So they said, you missed 170 classes. We're calling your parents. So my mom showed up. Missed 170 classes. She said, well, I just quit my job and I'm going to go to class with you to make sure you're in every class. And I said, there's got to be another option. What's the other option? So I had detention for the rest of the year. I had detention every day. I had to make up the work in detention. I had detention on Saturdays. And I had summer detention. I was locked up, dude. Locked up. And so when I saw this thing happen, I was just like, this kid is me. I am this kid. And so he gets caught with the bunking. And dad has it. That's it. You're gone, dude. Told you. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't be a crybaby. You brought this on yourself. And they take him to a boarding school. Right? It's a military-style boarding school. Same problems follow him. Right? I was in, I think, 22 different schools in 12 years, right? completely relate to this kid, man. My heart is gushing when I see this kid because I know what it is. And we see him he's trying in the military boarding school, he's trying. But now they've entered discipline in corporal punishment. He's getting beat, he's getting smacked, so now what has stopped is his rebellion has stopped because he's getting beat. He doesn't want the smacks for that, where he could kind of get that out and still have a little credibility. So now he's just a stupid kid without the ability to be like, hey, I'm actually kind of cool because I can tell the teacher to go suck it. Not doing that now, right? And he's having a real hard time. He begins the withdrawal into himself, the retreating into who he is. He begins that. He begins to shut down. He's not interacting with people. He's not painting. As a kid, I could draw like you would not believe. I mean, I still can. And I used to sit for hours drawing. And there comes a point in time where you are just beaten down. You can't do it anymore. You can't do anything. So he's just surviving. And the parents come by. They come and visit him once. And I don't remember if this is this. I think this is Aamir Khan that is introduced, and he has something happened with the art teachers. They get this new art teacher, Aamir Khan, and he's playing the flute, very much as a Krishna style flute, I hear, and he's dressed as an elfie clown, comes in and sings a song with the kids, and that moment in the film shocked me, like, not by what he was doing, but this film was in such like a mood for me, and then this clown is introduced, and it kind of shocked me and like kind of spoiled the moment because I was getting super emotional. I'm like, what the hell is this scene doing here? What is going on? But we're introduced to him this way, and I think it was used to say, look, we're going to do something a little different here. We are going to, be a little more artistic, and so he's doing his things, and he notices him, and he starts watching this kid, and we find out Aamir Khan has this background in this special needs area where it was, like retardation, handicap, things of that nature, and he's like, I can fix this kid, but this kid is beyond the pale, right? So he's trying to fix the kid. And he decides to take a trip to go see his parents, as I alluded to earlier. And he wants to see this kid. He wants to see his schoolwork, and he can see the red letters. He can see the question marks. And I remember those days. I remember the teacher's question mark, like, what the hell are you even... I don't even know what the hell you're saying, dude. What are you saying? And they... So Aamir Khan is saying, this isn't just... He's not stupid or lazy. He doesn't recognize the letters. You're asking him to do something he can't do, and the dad is like, BS. And Aamir Khan does something very clever. He sees they have, I think, a puzzle or board game, and the title of it is in Chinese, so he grabs it and he says to Dad, what does this say? Dad says, I don't know, it's Chinese, so how am I supposed to know? He's like, no, read it. What's it say? I don't know. What are you, stupid? I think you're just being lazy. You need some Dad's like, oh. Crap. And so you see Aamir Khan take this on, and he's going to help this kid. And I got help. I got help kind of in senior year when I was suspended all the time. The teachers kind of learned that, hey, you know what? I'm actually a nice guy, a nice kid. Why don't we just slow this down and give him individual one-on-one? And I began to pass my classes, and it started to click and sync, and was able to do that. So we see the story of him learning basic things. And there's a scene that I wanted, pardon my French, I wanted to kick the dad's ass. If I would have been there, I would have just beaten that dad. Like, I would have been arrested for thrashing him. And the scene is the little boy is trying to read, and I think it's the art exhibit. They're going to do this big art thing because what Amir Khan is doing is he sees this kid is special in a certain kind of way. What I need to do is I need to get an event that I can put him in and showcase him so he's the star and he can get some of his self-esteem back, he can get some of the stuff back and have the how people view him change, right? I was a really good drawer. I remember my art teacher saying, you're only 8 in the way you're drawing. We need to send you away to art school. Like, you go live downtown Chicago. All you would be doing is learning from masters. And my mom was like, hell no. No. Who's going to cut the grass? Like, my mom. She makes Raoul Gandhi's mom look like a saint. Sorry. And so he's trying to read this thing. And he's having a hard time because he's just learning the alphabet. And the dad hears him and is so he doesn't go comfort his kid. I mean, like, who in the hell does that? He doesn't go comfort his kid. He doesn't go say, son, hey, hi, son. How are you? I love you. What are you sounding? Oh, why are you making progress? He looks at him disgusted and leaves. If I would have been there, I would have grabbed that dad by the back of the neck and forced him over to his son and said, if you don't be nice to him, I'm going to whoop your butt. I'm going to. So we have the big contest, right? Everybody's coming. They do school-wide. Everybody's there. The teachers are there. Everybody's there. They do it on a Sunday. This big, huge contest. And where's our little man at? Oh, he decided to go for a walk somewhere. He took his stuff and he went for a walk. Now, I don't know if he was going to run away because fear of failure may have set in. I don't know. Did he just need to go get some inspiration? I think it was inspiration because when he comes back and he gets his colors and he gets going, he kind of draws and paints where he was hanging out. So maybe he was just going for inspiration. And so we have this contest. We have this thing pull out. Amir Khan painted the little boy, which was kind of cool. And the little boy painted the scene. And he wins the contest, right? He wins the contest. And there's like a parent-teacher conference afterwards where the principal's like, we love this kid, man. You got to keep this kid here. This kid's awesome. And the dad's like, oi, oi. He's like, oh. And I have to tell you, Amir Khan in this film was so likable. Such a likable man. I get the impression with Amir Khan that if I met Amir Khan, that I would like him. That he would be down to earth and a very relatable, likable guy. And I really liked this film, and it's a Bollywood Top 100. I'm like, just on a side note, I'm like 3/4 the way through this film, right? It's a long film. There's like maybe 20 minutes left. And Warrior Queen walks in and says, when I start it over, I'll watch it with you. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm going to be 5 hours into this. No, you're on your own. Sorry, Warrior Queen. I'll watch Pihu with you. We'll watch Pihu. And this was just an amazing film. I fell in love with that little boy. I fell in love with Amir Khan's character. I think this was a great piece of cinema to shed a light on an issue and show what should be done. Very accurate in how they described it. I have a hard time with dyslexia, and what I have to do is I have to manage. You learn other skills to cope. And one of the skills that I learned, besides violence and self-deprecation in humor, was I became an oratory learner. Listen, in the Warrior Queen, because we went to college together, she was always amazed because we would go to these classes and I would take classes that she was doing because she was kind of in the medical field. That was her classes. So we would take things like medical terminology, right? Which sounds boring. And it was. And it was graded on a curve because everybody failed the class, right? But she got like 106%, so she was making it harder for everybody, and she would do extra credit and the guy wouldn't give her credit for it because it was raising it up too high, and she would go complain and argue with the guy. But I got it right. I loved it. We saw that teacher grocery shopping. We went to say hello to him, and he was just like, "Don't talk to me, don't talk to me," and just walked away. I got a solid B in the class, even with the Warrior Queen raising the curve. Right, she was raising that curve. I got a B, and we took it with these twins. They were friends of ours, these two twin girls. And they were like, "This class is brutal. It's terrible. Jeremy, what's your secret?" Because they knew the Warrior Queen's very analytic, like taking notes and I was like, do you read the book? Like, I don't ever see you taking notes. How do you do this? I don't really read the book. Like, what? How do you do? I just listen. I listen and remember, and I find that's how I learn. So instead of trying to grapple with the text and be like, I don't know. I listen and I learn and I remember and I write. I have my own shorthand that I've developed over the years, so I can take little notes and understand what's going on, and it's whatever. But that's how I cope with it. And he said something in the film too. Aamir Khan said something in the film where he was talking about, does he have a hard time tying his shoes, buttoning his shirt, catching a ball? And basically, he didn't say this, but what he was saying is that's a mathematic equation, right? And he doesn't recognize it. By the time he can look at the ball, figure out the size of it, the speed, the velocity, in the distance, it's too late, right? He hasn't been able to process it, so it's too late and you can't catch it. Very similar. Very similar. Computer's getting ready to die. Hold on. Very similar for me. I went through that. I went through that also, where I had a hard time. Was late tying my shoes. Had a hard time doing eye-hand coordination because my eyes, I just couldn't figure out the mathematics of it in my head. So this film, I think this film is important because when we find somebody who is stupid, maybe we should take time to figure out why, what's going on. Is it a developmental issue? It wasn't me, it was a developmental issue. It took some time to come out. But what a great film. I loved Aamir Khan in it. I loved that little boy. I loved the film. It, personally, just again on a personal level, just resonated so much with me. I was touched by it. I just absolutely adored this film. This was a great film. And I hope you see it if you haven't seen it. I really do. And I know there are like a lot of new reactors that are just going gangbusters. Watch the films, right? This isn't all about views and subscribers, right? This isn't like how quick can I get to 1 million. Watch the film. Watch the films, because when you do this exchange with the media, with this medium, and you take it in, something happens. It begins to change you, and you begin to expand your horizons, right? And I think it's really important. You should watch the film. I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much. I know this is kind of a long movie review. I apologize for that. And I'm sorry for getting emotional in it. This thing just was outstanding. I loved it. I really did. I'll see you guys later. Peace and much love.